I want to talk about the cost that is associated with growth. When you set out to become a better version of yourself, this is one of those costs that you have to pay that you may not think about right away. When you just want to do better in life, right? Like say before, you are as you are and you got a lot of friends and, everything's cool. But say you're not happy with your life. And so you make a decision to become a better version of yourself. What I've noticed is when you decide to become a better version of yourself, you're going to lose a lot of friends. And the higher you go, the more friends you lose. I was thinking about this, and actually I wrote about this earlier today, but when I was in the streets and when I was selling drugs and when I was hanging in bars and when I was drinking liquor and alcohol and when I was sleeping around and when I was getting high, I had a lot of friends. Like I was always hanging with somebody. And then when I decided, to just improve the quality of my life, because I was not happy at all. And, when I found my way out and I took it and I started becoming a better version of myself, when I stopped drinking liquor and alcohol and hanging in bars, I lost friends. And when I stopped getting high, I lost friends. And when I stopped selling drugs, I lost friends. When I stopped hanging in the streets, I lost friends. And this process has never stopped. For me, it started about 25 years ago, and it's never stopped because a few years ago or so, my eating habits changed drastically to where I stopped eating cooked food. For a period of time, I was only eating fruit. And I lost a lot more people. I mean, not a lot more because there wasn't a lot around me. I lost just, so many people, up to this point. But I lost pretty much everyone else that was still hanging around. And I just find it really interesting. And, I'm not blaming or I'm not faulting anyone. And I'm not saying that, my friends weren't real friends or anything like that. But it's just the way it works. Because the way I was before, everything, I was the way I was because I was deceived. I was ignorant. I was living my life in darkness. And I was hurting. I was carrying a lot of pain on the inside of me. And, it just so happens that, the energy that you put out into the universe attracts more of that same type of energy, which says a lot about all the friends that I had back then. What it says is they were also hurting and running from pain and unhappy. We were the same. And so we had a lot of things in common. So we would run from our pain together at the bar. Or we would get high and run away from our pain together. And when I decided to stop running, all of my friends weren't ready to stop running. And so I started confronting all of my issues, just facing them head on, just going through the process. And as I did that, and as I still do that, I began to, or truth is revealed to me in these different areas. And once truth is revealed to you and you see how ignorant you were, like, how do you go back? All those people that I used to hang with back then, they're still ignorant. They're still living in darkness. They're still running. They're still hurting. And they're still refusing to heal and to grow and to become better versions of themselves. They're still choosing to live the lie instead of the truth. They're still choosing suffering and struggle over being blessed. How can I go back to that? Like, I know the truth now. I know why I got high so much. I know why I drank so much. I know why I slept around so much. I know why I was hurting. I know why I was in pain. Like, I've healed from all these things. Like, why would I go back? So I guess it's unfortunate because I'm not going back just to have friends, because I'm going the way that they should be going. Like, you should want to be better. You should want to have better. You should want a better quality of life. You should want to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. I'm not wrong. I'm not at fault for wanting to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm not at fault for not wanting to struggle. I'm not at fault for wanting to be happy. I'm not at fault for wanting to be blessed even more. I'm not at fault for wanting to improve the quality of my life. And so, that's what I've been doing. And people, earlier on, people were mad at me. And, people felt like I was a sellout. And I betrayed them because, some of these people I used to hang with, we were like family. but I'm not at fault for wanting a better life. The question is, why don't you? Why don't you want a better life? Why don't you want a better quality of life? Why don't you want to be a better version of yourself? Why don't you want to do better and be better and have better? Why do you want to stay in the dark? Why do you run from the light? Why do you run from the truth? Why do you choose the lies over the truth? And so, this was, I've had many fork in the road moments like this where, what are you going to do? Are you going to choose growth, or are you going to choose your friends? Are you going to choose your friends over growth? Are you going to choose your friends over a better life? Are you going to choose your friends over happiness and peace and joy and blessings and prosperity? It doesn't even make sense. And it doesn't make sense that one would reject truth and a better lifestyle and blessings and success and prosperity and happiness and peace. Like, why would you reject that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And so, with every single one of my friends, we just, they continue going the way they were going. And I said, well, you know what? I don't like this way no more. I'm not going this way no more. And so I changed directions. I sold out. Whatever. And, since I've been going towards the light, I can't see myself ever turning back from it, because it's a beautiful life. Like, when you get closer to the light and truth, like, you see life in ways that you've never been able to see it before because you've been in the dark. And you just see, like, life is really beautiful and it's amazing and it's full of miracles all around you. And I just have, a totally different experience of life. One that doesn't involve suffering and struggle and stress and anxiety and fear and depression. And, all the things that, I used to struggle with and suffer from. So, another interesting point about this is there is no limit to how high you can go, to how much you can grow, to the amount of light you can receive, to the amount of truth you can be given. There's no limits. And the more you grow, the more friends you lose. The higher you go, the more friends you lose. And I mean, me just being at this place now where I'm not eating cooked food. I'm eating primarily vegetables. I mean, not vegetables, fruit. I eat mostly fruit. Sometimes I eat nothing but fruit. It's like no one can relate to that. No one understands that But that's because they're in the dark. They're living in the dark, and I'm living in the light. And the darkness and the light, they just have nothing in common. But I can understand why they eat the way they eat. They can't because I've been there. They can't understand why I eat the way I eat. They don't understand that I stopped eating that way because, for one, the things I was eating wasn't even food. None of it. They don't understand that I stopped eating the way I used to eat because of how much truth I've received about those things that I used to eat. How many diseases, the chemicals and the toxins and the drugs that are put in these products are linked to. Any disease you can name. There's chemicals and drugs in these products that are being sold to us as food. That are linked to any disease you could think of. Heart disease, cancer, birth defects, Alzheimer's, diabetes, kidney disease, liver disease, ADHD. Kids are suffering from the things that parents and the schools are feeding these children. Because it's nothing but chemicals and drugs. Toxic chemicals and drugs that are linked to any disease you could think of. So they don't understand, like, do I go back to eating things that I know are strengthening and producing disease within my body just so I can have friends? I can't do it. You know, I would love for everyone that I used to hang with to want to come out of the dark and come to the light. To want to know the truth and be set free and be blessed. Body, mind, soul, spirit. In every way. I would love that. But I can't choose that for you. And, you know, I just feel like it's a problem if you don't want that for yourself. So that's one of those things that, that's one of those costs that you have to pay. You know, when you want life to be better, you just be ready for life to be harder. Because no pain, no gain. You want to grow. You want to go to the next level. You want to improve the quality of your life. Anything that's worth having is worth fighting for. And you're going to have to fight. Like, if you want to be a better version of yourself, you got to fight for that. If you want to be happy, you got to fight for that. If you want to get in better shape, you got to fight for that. Like, in any way that you want to level up and become a better version of yourself, you got to fight for that. It's not given to you. And you will likely be fighting for those things by yourself. And that's just part of the cost associated with becoming a better version of yourself. So, you could say, well, I'm tired of struggling. But the struggle don't really stop. It just becomes a different struggle. So like for me now, for example, my struggle isn't so much with sickness and disease that's linked to the products I was eating. The struggle now becomes to stay on this path, to not go back to eating the way I was eating, to stay away from the cooked foods and all the toxic bullshit, and to stay on the fruit and to stay raw and to stay with what's natural. The struggle doesn't stop. You just fight a different struggle. It's just a different struggle. My struggle isn't no longer with depression. Now the struggle is to be happy, like to stay happy. You got to fight. Like I said, you got to fight to be happy. You don't just wake up and you're just happy every day. Like you got to fight for it. You will have to make decisions all throughout the day, fighting for your happiness. It could mean you holding your tongue and letting a lot of shit slide, and choosing which thoughts you will give attention to and refusing. There's a war going on here where you're refusing to think about negative things or things that will make you unhappy or depressed. Actively fighting against thoughts like that and choosing to think about positive things that will make you happy, things that you're grateful for. There's another way I wanted to say that. I couldn't figure it out though. But yeah, there's a fight in this world up here, in this universe up here. Like you're fighting here every day to be happy, to be positive, to be thankful, to put good energy out into the universe, to keep your vibration high. So, yeah. So that's about all. I was just thinking about that today. Like, wow, that's really interesting because like now I have like no friends at all. Like everybody has fallen away, and it was never like beef or anything like that. It's just we just no longer have things in common. We no longer have things to talk about because they're not interested in the things I'm interested in, and I'm not interested in the things they're interested in. But the only difference is I've been where they are. I've tasted that life. I've lived that life. They've never been where I am. They've never experienced life from my side. So, and again, I would love, if they sold out, if they wanted to switch sides, if they wanted to come out the dark and stop being stupid, right? Because when you're living life in the dark, you can't help but to be stupid. You can't help but to make stupid decisions and just do stupid shit because you're ignorant. You're doing stupid shit. You're making stupid decisions thinking you're being smart. That's because you're in the dark. You can't see where you're going. I would love for them to want to come out of that. I got tired of being stupid. I got tired of doing stupid shit that was just fucking my life up. I got tired of that. I got tired of being miserable and unhappy. Like, when do you get tired of it? Like, they're constantly going through bullshit and drama. Like, when do you get tired of it? When do you get tired of arguing and fighting and falling out with people and you know, just relationships starting off great and then just going to hell? Like, when do you get tired of all that? I got tired of it. And that's the only difference between me and them. They never did. I got tired of it in my 20s. You know, and many of them, they're exactly the same as they were when we used to hang out in our 20s. I ain't knocking it. I ain't judging it. You know, it's their life. Live it however you want. I'm just saying, I got tired of that shit. So I made some changes. I'm grateful to have been shown the way of escape. And I've been, you know, off and on, you know, especially in the earlier years, it was rougher. You know, it was a lot of on the path, off the path, on the path, fuck this path, on the path. I'm going back to my old ways. You know, it was a lot of that in the beginning. And, you know, I'm thankful that I made it through all of that. And I'm at a place now to where I'm not going to say I'm smooth sailing, but compared to how I was back then with the on the path and fuck this path and back on the path and, you know, I'm smooth sailing compared to that, you know, and I'm in a much better place. And so, yeah, just wanted to talk about that. And I'd love to know what you think about that. So let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on that.